Snake Cartel fam, what's up? We got another real talk video, and today I'm talking about why I've built my dream life but feel stuck. And this isn't the typical woe is me type video. It is a little bit of a venting session, but I do want to share some solutions, man. And I've spoke about this before in other videos about the emptiness I feel in the corporate world, even with the, making a decent income, especially for my age bracket. But I want to actually share some things, like the title's meant to reel you in, but I actually want to share some solutions for you guys that are going through the same thing as far as dealing with burnout, because today hasn't been necessarily a bad day. In fact, there hasn't really been anything negative going on, but this is one of those days we all have where you just feel, just thinking about your current situation and how to move forward. But I want to share some things that help me. Going to the gym regularly, guys. There's scientific evidence about how physical exercise can not only benefit your physical being, but also your mental. This is a major thing for me. Whenever I've had a bad day, I've gone through the phase of, indulging in vices whenever I'm going through a stressful time, but luckily I'm past that. I like to use the gym as a replacement for that. Reading books helps as well. Something I've recently gotten back into. I've been reading some books, and they're not even like necessarily any self-help books. I love anything like paranormal. I love reading about like ghost stories and like aliens and stuff like that. So that's like a personal interest of mine. So that's I've gotten some books related to that, and that helps keep my mind busy. Another thing I like to do is eating healthy. This kind of ties into the exercise, and that definitely has a major benefit on my mental. I notice the type of fuel I put into my body, even though it doesn't necessarily change my work situation, it does help me function better. It makes me a little bit more quick on my feet and gives me a huge mental boost. And I don't recommend people going overboard with this, because caffeine can definitely be very addictive, but coffee helps. I don't think you should be completely reliant on it, but especially with me waking up early in the morning, it does give me that healthy boost I need, and definitely helps me get going through the day. And another thing too, you gotta tailor it to your own personal interests as well. Like, what are you guys into? As you see in my videos, I have a lot of pets, and my pets really help me get through through life. Caring for them, adding to their cages. I feel like it even makes the videos look better when I add as much as I can to their cages. So it's a win-win for everybody. It looks good to y'all, looks good to me, and it helps them out, because this kind of ties into what I was mentioning earlier. It gives them mental stimulation. These are sentient beings, just like we are, so they need to be mentally stimulated, just like a human, or they can be depressed. I know snakes or a lot of reptiles, and inverts in particular, because I do have tarantulas and centipedes and stuff like that. You can't really see it as evident as you would maybe a dog or cat. But they have emotions too, guys. I don't buy the BS that they're total, like, always like in survival mode. They do have emotions, and I've seen that. I feel like anybody that's had any sort of animal could tell you that you start paying attention to their behaviors. And I've noticed with my green tree python in particular, his movements are a lot more. I notice a lot more healthy activity with him, and I can tell he's just more mentally stimulated now that I've added the plants, the substrate, the extra branches. It's a lot more mentally stimulating, and we have to kind of add that into our own lives as well. I'm fortunate enough to live in Vegas, so there's a lot of things I can do to occupy my time. If you're bored in Vegas, I don't know what you're doing, but I know money can be an issue too. So I get that if you may not do things due to certain financial constraints, but I just now got out of that situation, so I definitely feel that. But you really got to get creative. Use ChatGPT. Fun things to do near me. Maybe you're in a small town. I've lived that life too, particularly like growing up from like 0 to 18 until I went to college. And maybe you're like 30 or 40 minutes, maybe an hour away from a big city. So, I would. It's worth the time and effort, guys. I feel like we really got to put time to invest into our mental health, and I feel like it definitely benefits us in the long run, because this is how I decompress. On the weekends, that's another thing. I do have the weekends off, and you can guys use this with whatever time off you have. And I like to maximize my weekends. I like to get my workouts in. I like to try different things, go to restaurants. travel to different places. I don't know if I'm gonna do it next weekend or not, because I am gonna go for Memorial Day with my girl. We're taking a trip to Newport Beach. But I like to. I was thinking about doing another LA trip or going somewhere in Cali. And due to the gas, so that's another thing. So I like to go for drives too. That definitely clears my mind a lot, guys. But I know that could be insane in this economy with gas. I know over here being like in some places almost $6 a gallon over here in Vegas, and I know back east where my family lives, they're like around $4. So I know gas is an issue. So that may not be as feasible for some people. I definitely understand that, but it's you got to think of something, guys. I'm over here at one of my favorite parks. Let me switch over to this. Over at Exploration Peak. This car will move. That's my therapy right there, man. Definitely helps me decompress and gives me something to do. I love walking, so that's definitely a big thing for me. I love the scenery it gives, and that definitely helps a lot too, guys. If you guys are into nature, or just, you know, maybe if you're not, just try it. Maybe you just haven't tried it yet. You never know till you try. And forgive me, guys, I'm driving, so I still got to pay attention to the road. But yeah, maybe it's something new you could try. That's another thing I would recommend, is trying new things constantly. It definitely helps get you out of the routines for the day, makes life a little less mundane and boring, and it gives you wisdom, guys. Just getting new experiences and just involving yourself in what's going on in the world, what's going on around you. You should investigate that new restaurant in your town, or maybe there's a new grocery store that opened up, or maybe there's an arcade. Even if it's something you're not into, just to kind of give you guys an idea of, you know, maybe you may like it. It may become your favorite spot. And I've had a lot of different experiences like that, to where I just randomly tried something and I ended up being a repeat guest, because it ends up being a spot I like, whether it's a food restaurant, maybe it's a local park. It all just depends, guys. You really got to get out there and make yourself available to new opportunities. And this is in just day-to-day life, or it can lead into financial possibilities as well. YouTube is another major helper for me as of recent times, because it really gives me a place to vent and really express my thoughts. And I know I'm not the only one that feels like this. And you know, you never know what it may turn into. I kind of see it as my way out, which also gives me another side mental relief. Because I definitely would like to gain an income that allows me to, you know, spend more time with my girl, just be more creative, and just feel more free. I love looking at birds, guys, hawks in particular, and I just love how free they are, just flying high in the sky, just owning the world, it seems. That's something I've always admired about birds, man. I actually had a bird when I was younger. I had a parakeet, had it for years. Her name was Gizmo, and the birds, they have a lot of symbolism to me. I've always liked that. I've always wanted to fly too, so that's another thing. If I had any power, it would be the power of flight or teleportation with these gas prices. But that's one thing. Sorry, guys, it's like a lot of road closures out here. Sorry, guys, I had a few minor interruptions just when I thought I knew the way. I had a few road closures and I was circling around. Then when I started filming again, I had a pretty good clip, and then I got another random call from work. And I let them know I was going into the grocery store to get some food, because I don't have any meetings right now necessarily. But that's another thing that's kind of annoying, is like all the random calls outside of my regular meetings. But it wasn't anything urgent, luckily. But yeah, as I was saying, YouTube is I've always had YouTube channels throughout my life, whether it was for reptiles, extreme sports. I used to have an extreme sports channel with my friends. Don't know if I mentioned that before, because I'm going to delete the other clip that got interrupted. But I really see it as my way out, and as a way to get a decent income while also having some time spent with my, you know, my loved ones, and particularly my girl, because I don't really hang out with too many people. Like really her and her friends. I mean her family. Because I'm not from the West Coast, so I don't really have too many friends out here. But it's definitely a goal of mine. And sorry, I'm swerving through the parking lanes, but yeah, guys, it's definitely something I want to do with my life, and I just naturally enjoy the videos. I feel like it's definitely a direction I should move in. Everybody's on YouTube. I'm constantly watching YouTube, so I figured, hey, why not let myself get a slice of the pie. All right, y'all. So I just secured my groceries here at the local Vons. I like to go here. It's not too far from my place. See another Challengers right there. No Corvettes in sight though. But there's, you know, the groceries, nothing too special. But yeah, guys, I like to go to the grocery store on my lunch break if I don't have any, if I'm lacking food in the crib, just to save costs and, you know, eat a little bit healthier. Something I like to do. I do get the deli wings whenever I do go in there generally, just to have something that's like hot and ready for me to eat right now. But I went in there and got a few steaks and just you know, a couple snacks, but I got a lot of fruit as well. I try to eat healthy, guys. So that's, you know, to play into my tip I gave you earlier. You know, we got to practice what we preach. Head back, y'all. I got a meeting soon, so I got to head back to the crib. But luckily, it's not too important. I may not even make it back to my laptop by the time I get there, but I can join from the phone. It's not any. It'll probably be a quick one, so it's not that I need to present. Luckily. But I'll see you guys on the next one. Hope you guys found some value out of this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, hype, and subscribe. Snake, my bad, y'all. I'm on one today, man. I've been trying to pump out the content, but man, Snake Cartel out. Hope you guys have a great rest of the week.